Lock the door now. Whatever is happening outside, the noise of the streets, the expectations of others, the problems you've been trying to solve by sheer force, all of that needs to stay out. You were not brought here by accident. There is a reason your attention was captured in this moment, a reason your soul's silence already knew, but your conscious mind hadn't yet put into words. You've been feeling something you can't explain to anyone, haven't you? As if there's a frequency calling, an urgency with no name, yet it makes you feel that time as you knew it is dissolving. What I'm about to give you today is an alignment contract. By the end of this conversation, you will recognize the signs that have been hammering at your awareness and understand why your life seems to have entered a zone of turbulence just before the great calm. You will grasp why your old methods no longer work and why so often you feel like a stranger in your own routine. And above all, I will reveal what lies beneath this feeling of always being on edge, always waiting for a signal you sense, but that refuses to manifest clearly. Stay with me, because this revelation is the turning point you asked for without knowing how to ask. You have been waking up systematically at the same hour of the night when the world is still asleep and your spirit seems more awake than ever. It's as if there's an internal clock adjusting your hands to an appointment you still can't see. You look at the people around you and realize that the conversations that used to fulfill you no longer do, that the superficiality of daily life exhausts you in a physical, draining way. And there's also this strange sense that time is running faster, as if days are being compressed, forcing you to choose between continuing what is familiar or accepting the unknown knocking at your door. You've seen repeating numbers, felt sudden emotional temperature shifts in your chest, and you have the absolute certainty that although nothing in your home has changed, something fundamental inside you has been moved to a place of new demand. Attention!
There is a truth sealed by God for millennia, hidden until the end of times. It's no coincidence you are here. The signs are everywhere, and few are ready for this revelation. If you've ever felt that restlessness, that there's something deeper in the scriptures, this book is your key. But know this is the time. And the vault of the chosen reveals what God sealed for you. Within it, the 7 seals unveil the truth about being a chosen one and the eternal impact of this revelation. And the proof is here. Look how many minds are freed. Yours could be next. Secure your access now. Click the link in the comments or description and unveil these truths.
Breathe deeply with me now. Let this awareness settle in your chest without judgment, just as a recognition of what is real. If at least one of these signs touched you, if you felt a chill down your spine or a sudden calm upon reading these words, type the number 777 in the comments. Your fingers typing those numbers are your spirit saying yes to the truth being revealed. It's the smallest agreement but the deepest one, your record that you recognize the sign. Type 777 and come back here to me. Now that you have acknowledged the signs, we need to go one layer deeper, where the diagnosis becomes clear. You have been operating under a pattern of silent exhaustion, trying to carry what was never your responsibility. You became accustomed to being the pillar, the person who holds the roof so others don't get wet, even while your own foundation is cracking. You confuse faithfulness with overload. You believe that if you let go of the ropes, everything you've built will collapse. But the truth is, you've been pulling on ropes that aren't attached to anything anymore. Your fatigue is not lack of faith nor laziness. It's the unmistakable sign that you are trying to live on soil that no longer nourishes your seed. Imagine now your life as an old house. For a long time, you left all the doors open, trying to be accessible, trying to be useful, allowing everyone's energy to come in and circulate without filter. But there was an invasion of noise, of others' expectations, of weights that weren't yours. And then something happened. You started locking the doors one by one. You didn't lock them out of fear, but out of preservation. Deep down in that ground, there is a root system, your deepest essence, that has been searching for new soil, a depth that the surface of your current life can no longer reach. You feel like a tree whose roots have hit a rock, and instead of giving up, they are twisting, searching underneath in dark and hidden places for a crack where life can finally flow without obstacles. If you feel these doors of your inner house are being locked now, not out of isolation, but out of a sacred protection of what you carry, type the words, "I am ready," in the comments. Let the recognition of this new posture seal where your truth just landed. The act of typing these words makes the witness permanent in your own record of change. Type it and come back here to me. The solution to what you are experiencing does not require more effort. You have spent your entire life trying to climb mountains carrying stones, believing that the climb was your destiny. But what you need to do now is the opposite movement: unlearning. Your healing is not about building a new path, but about releasing the weights you've accumulated in your baggage since very early on. It's a softening. It's allowing your nervous system, so used to a state of alert, to finally understand that the battle is over. There is no more need to prove anything to anyone, not even to yourself. What you seek is not something you conquer with the sweat of your brow. It is something you receive with open hands. Stop seeking the approval of an audience that was never really paying attention. The guilt you feel for not producing at the pace of others is just an echo of a voice that convinced you your worth lies in your sacrifice, but your worth is inherent. You do not have to earn what already belongs to you by right of existence. Just breathe and let the weight fall from your shoulders. Let the silence fill the spaces that were once occupied by the need for control. You are not losing control. You are finally handing over what you never had the capacity to sustain. Stop. Whatever you are doing right now, stop. Lock the door, push away the noise of the world, and silence the voices that do not belong to you. What I am about to say is not for everyone out there seeking entertainment or noise. It is for you who feels the call crossing through the walls of time. There is a question you carry, an interrogation that no one around you has been able to answer truthfully, and now, in this moment of isolation, you will hear the answer. By the end of this conversation, you will recognize the signs that have been appearing on your path and what they truly mean for your next step. You will identify the hidden pattern that has been blocking what you so deeply seek. And more importantly, we will make a declaration together that will seal the reason this message reached you today. Stay with me, because the deepest layer of what you are experiencing is exactly what we are about to touch now. You have been noticing things no one else sees. Maybe it's the constant waking in the middle of the night, or numbers that repeat like an echo, or perhaps it's this conversation that once seemed normal, but now feels hollow, as if you are speaking a language no one else understands. You feel time speeding up, as if you are living months in days. These signs are not problems. They are not glitches in your system. They are calibration. It is your spirit adjusting its frequency for what is to come. If at least one of these signs touched you, if your shoulders dropped at any moment in the last few seconds, type the number 777 in the comments. It's the smallest agreement, but it's real. Beneath these signs, there is a pattern of exhaustion you have been sustaining for a long time. You have been trying to carry the weight of decisions that aren't yours, pulling ropes that aren't attached to anything anymore. You perform for an audience that was never paying attention, spending energy that should be reserved for your own purpose. It's like being in a house where all the doors are locked, but the keys are in your hand, and you haven't even noticed. There is a living metaphor here. You are like a tree whose roots have been seeking nutrients in soil that no longer offers life, while pure water flows just a few inches below, waiting for you to simply relax and let yourself be led. Your fatigue is not lack of faith. It is the result of trying to be your own sustenance in a garden that has already been watered for you. If something inside you just sealed, if the image I showed you fell into a place you can't explain, type the words, "I am ready," in the comments. Let the recognition seal where it just landed. Type it and come back here to me. The solution to this cycle is not more effort, not more seeking, not more control. It is return. It is unlearning the weight you inherited and allowing yourself to be led. Think of it as a softening. All you need to do is let go of the ropes and breathe deeply. Sit with that for a moment. Let it settle in the part of you that has waited the longest to hear this liberation. If something in this message confirmed what your spirit already knew, let your like be your wordless amen. Not as a metric, but as an agreement that what was named here was named correctly. There is someone in your life who needs this exact message right now. Someone who has been trying harder than everyone around them. Someone who lives tired in silence, holding a posture that no one sees. Someone whose face just appeared in your mind as I spoke. Send this to that person, not as a recommendation, but as a delivery, a sign that they don't have to carry the world alone. Stop. What I am about to say is not for everyone listening. It is for you. There is a silent invitation waiting for you, but to hear it, you must withdraw from the noise. Lock the door. Leave the world outside, because what we are about to address is not about what you do, but about who you have finally allowed yourself to be. You have been carrying a weight that does not belong to you, and in this moment I came to tell you the reason behind that invisible exhaustion. By the end, you will recognize the 4 signs that have been appearing in your life and what they truly indicate. You will understand the pattern of sacrifice that has been blocking the flow of your spiritual prosperity. And before we finish, there is a revelation about your identity that explains why this message reached you exactly now. You have been feeling a restlessness that doesn't pass with ordinary rest. Sometimes you wake in the night at a specific hour with the feeling that something important is about to happen, even if the next day turns out ordinary. You notice that conversations with those around you have begun to feel superficial, as if you are speaking a language no one near you understands. You sense that time has started to run strangely, speeding up and pausing as if reality is adjusting to a new frequency. These are not problems. They are invitations. They are warnings that you are being prepared for something larger than your current routine can hold. It's the smallest agreement, but it's real. The pattern that has kept you in this cycle is the constant attempt to carry what is not your responsibility. You operate under the premise that if you stop pulling the rope, everything will collapse. But the truth is, you've been pulling ropes that aren't attached to anything. You have confused your faithfulness with depletion, believing that suffering is the price of staying where you think you should be. Imagine now your life as an old house. You've spent years trying to renovate the rooms, painting walls, trying to make the old structure support a new life that wants to enter. But beneath that house, there is a root system. Like a tree that grew too close to a wall, your roots are searching for water in soil that has already dried up. You are not growing outward, you are trying to survive within a space that no longer holds your size. The courtyard of your soul always belonged to something vast, but you have been living on the porch. If something inside you just aligned with that image, if the revelation of the house and the roots fell into a place you can't explain, type the words, "I am ready," in the comments. Type it and come back here to me. The solution is not more effort. You do not need to force yourself to find a new path. You only need to stop insisting on what has already ended. It is an unlearning. It's like letting go of a plank you've been clinging to in the middle of an ocean, thinking it's your only salvation, when in truth you have already learned to float without it. The guilt for what you haven't achieved so far is only the echo of a voice that is not yours. You have not failed. You were simply operating on a survival frequency that does not allow flowering. Abundance is not built with sweat. It is received through surrender. Let go of the ropes, breathe deeply, and accept that what is yours does not need to be conquered, only recognized as part of who you are. The weight you carry on your shoulders, that feeling that life is always one step ahead of your ability to react, is not a manufacturing defect. It is, in fact, proof that you are sensitive to something most people choose to ignore. While the world out there agitates in a routine that no longer has purpose, you feel the call to lock the door, isolate the noise, and attend to what is waiting in the silence, not as a metric, but as a deep agreement that what was named here is the truth about your journey. Someone you see striving beyond their limit, someone who keeps a smile on their face while their eyes betray a fatigue that is not physical but of the soul. Send this to that person, not as advice, but as a testimony that they have been seen and that their process is not isolation, but preparation. You now stand at the threshold. Everything you have lived until now, all that intense seeking, served to clear the soil where your true identity will bloom. It is not about what you will do tomorrow. It is about who you have already become in the process of crossing the fire. Before this ends, type the words, "I am the chosen one" in the comments. Not as a wish, not as a distant hope, but as a confirmation that the agreement silently forming between heaven and your hearing is the foundation upon which you will live from now on. Type slowly. Allow your fingers to do what your spirit is already recognizing as real. The waking in the night that has marked your hours is not a glitch in your biological clock, nor a failure to rest your body. It is a silent call that insists on knocking at the door of your consciousness when the rest of the world gives in to sleep and forgetting. Many around you would call it insomnia, but you know that in the silence of that hour, something different happens. Time seems to dilate, and the clarity that escapes you during the day arises with a sharpness that can be uncomfortable. You have noticed that repeating numbers have become frequent, almost as if the universe itself is trying to capture your attention through signs that for others would just be coincidences. But for you, who carry this weight in your chest like a mission not yet understood, there is no more room to deny intuition. It is the smallest agreement you can make, but it is a real and concrete agreement. This pattern of exhaustion you live is not the result of lack of ability or lack of effort. You have been operating under a logic of trial and error, believing you need to carry every burden that crosses your path to prove you are worthy of peace. It's as if you live in a house where all the windows are open to winds that bring dust, while you desperately try to sweep the floor without ever closing the passage. You confuse care for others with neglect of your own essence. There is a root in you, a deep structure planted in adverse soil, teaching you that only extreme effort justifies existence. But what you haven't realized is that the root system of that tree has already reached the water table of truth. Only you are still watering the dry leaves on the surface. The metaphor of your life now is a house with many doors, where you spent decades locking the wrong rooms out of fear of what might enter. You protected the furniture but left the soul exposed to the elements. The reframing you need to live now requires you to stop trying to control the weather outside. If something inside you just aligned, if that image of a house you need to finally inhabit found an echo, type the words "I am ready" in the comments. Type it and come back here to me. Unlearning what you were taught about merit is the hardest task anyone can take on, because it requires you to admit that struggle, the way you have conducted it, was never the path to freedom. You do not need to strive to be what you already are. Abundance, rest, and clarity are, in fact, layers of protection you placed upon yourself out of fear that if you stopped, everything would fall apart. But the truth is that what is rightfully yours does not flee when you rest. What is yours is waiting for you to stop running so that you can finally be reached by what was already coming toward you. The guilt, the fear of losing control, and the feeling that you are always behind are just memories of a time when you didn't yet know the door was open. Now, you simply allow yourself to be what you have always been. Breathe deeply with me now. Feel the weight you carry on your shoulders begin to dissolve, not because you threw it away, but because you finally accepted it was never yours. Not as a metric, not as a number, but as a deep agreement that what was named here was named correctly. You need nothing else to validate this truth. Someone who has been trying harder than everyone around them and still sees the door remain closed despite so much effort. Someone who walks quietly in a way that no one around them can explain, holding a posture of strength that hides a deep fatigue. The face of that person just appeared in your mind as I spoke. Send this to them. Not as a recommendation, nor as a warning about their life. Send it as a delivery, a gesture of silent care, just as this message reached you out of pure recognition, not as a wish, not as a hope you try to grasp. Type it as a confirmation of who you have become during this journey of surrender. The agreement that has been silently forming between heaven and your hearing is an agreement you will live by for the rest of this season. Type slowly, with the awareness that your fingers are now doing what your spirit is already doing internally, sealing your position. You are committed to the truth that now moves through your life. You are sent to carry this new perception beyond the walls of your home. You are being led to a place of rest where excessive effort no longer has dominion. Right now, all around the world, other people are receiving this same recognition and feeling this same stillness invade their chest. You are part of something that does not announce itself with noise, of a silent movement that happens in the intimacy of locked houses, and that is exactly why it is real. Attention!
There is a truth sealed by God for millennia, hidden until the end of times. It's no coincidence you are here. The signs are everywhere, and few are ready for this revelation. If you've ever felt that restlessness, that there's something deeper in the scriptures, this book is your key. But know this is the time. And the vault of the chosen reveals what God sealed for you. Within it, the 7 seals unveil the truth about being a chosen one and the eternal impact of this revelation. And the proof is here. Look how many minds are freed. Yours could be next. Secure your access now. Click the link in the comments or description and unveil these truths.